The Commanders suck. There's just no other way to put it. They just lost 25-10 against the Dallas Cowboys, fall to 1-3 on the season. And yeah, it was an ugly, ugly loss by the Commanders. And I don't know. Changes I think should be made. I don't think they will be made. And who knows? Doing something, in season, I don't think really accomplishes much. But like, if this continues, like, we need to clean house after the year. Again, I don't necessarily think it will happen, but that's just an opinion I have. I'm just tired of this coaching staff. Scott Turner, Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio. Even though the defense was solid today, I'm just tired of them. Let's start off with Carson Wentz, 25-42, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was not good today. He was not good at all. I mean, no pocket awareness. Sometimes, like, there was one time where he made a great play. He, avoids a sack from Micah Parsons, and then it's like, dude, don't get greedy. Throw the ball away. And of course, he gets greedy, and there's an intentional grounding. I think there was another intentional grounding in the game as well, which is debatable because Logan Thomas was in the area. Pretty inaccurate today. Didn't make many great throws. And yeah, just not a lot of awareness either by him. Offense was not good today. Scott Turner was not good again. Some very, very questionable play calls, like 3rd and 3. Like, it's an 8-man front. Basically, there's 8 people at the line of scrimmage at least, and they run it, and then they don't even go for it the next play. That was terrible. Gibson was okay. 13 carries, 49 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. And then you got Jonathan Williams was good today. 5 carries, 48. McKissick, 8 for 40. Wasn't that great besides that one long run. So really, if you take out the 33-yard run, which is, it's hard to do, but that's 7 carries for 7 yards. So, and then receiving wise, Dotson was good, and he got hurt. Unfortunately, had a hamstring injury. He was out of the game. That's why Diami was in at the end. And the possession before that sucks. Hopefully he's okay. He was solid. 3 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Samuel was all right. Whatever. The rest of the guys really didn't do anything. McLaurin, I'm not going to lie, he got locked up today. Trayvon Diggs did a great job on him. Did he get away with some holding? I personally think so. Like, they showed a play of showed like a few clips of Terry McLaurin getting locked up, and almost every one of them I thought was a holding or a pass interference. The last play where Diggs, I think it was a 4th down or something. It was Terry was open. Terry was wide open. Diggs just made a great play. And Terry obviously didn't have a great game, but Diggs definitely had a good game, even though there were some questionable non-calls, in my opinion, that should have, given Terry or given the Commanders a 1st down because of the pass interference for sure. And yeah, besides that, no one really stood out. Offensive line was awful. I mean, you look at Trey Turner, he's so bad. He was terrible today. And they moved on, or they put in Sadiq Charles, who was okay. I thought the left side of the line, though, I thought Charles Leno did a really, really good job on Micah Parsons when he was lined up against him. And I thought Andrew Norwell played he was okay. And Charles Leno was good. Nick Martin was eh. And then Sadiq wasn't great. And Sam Cosmi did not have a good game again. Offensive line was not great. But they allowed, 2 sacks. But, I mean, Wentz just held onto the ball too long sometimes. Those interceptions were pretty bad, and it's just unfortunate. The offense scores 10 points, 7 points in the first half, 3 points in the second half. They had multiple opportunities to score in the second half, like the terrible punt. They had the 30-yard line, and then the amount of penalties, man, that just really, really killed the offense and the defense. Like, it's just really hard if you're 2nd and 8 and then it turns into 3rd and 27, because that happened today. That's just ridiculous. Holding penalties, which I thought, I'm not the refs were not good at all, but that's not an excuse. But I'm just talking in terms of they missed so many holding calls on the Dallas offensive line, but we had a holding call, at least 1 or 2 against us. We had multiple false starts, a lot. that really, like, those things really hurt you. They really, really do. 2nd and 7 goes to 2nd and 12. We had some intentional groundings, which, again, Wentz has got to get rid of it quicker. Just things like that really, really frustrated me today. I'm trying to think of anything else that we can take away from the offense. Really nothing much. This offense has been really, really underwhelming the last 2 games. Scott Turner has not been good. And yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Brian Robinson going to be back, expected to be back, which is good. The run game was solid today, but 140 yards. But the passing game was terrible. And then Bates also had a fumble at the end, but he recovered it himself. So defense was better for sure. I mean, allowing 25 points is okay. And you also, the offense was not helping you at all. Jonathan Allen had one of the best games I've ever seen him play. 8 total tackles, had 1 sack, 4 tackles for loss, a QB hit, batted a pass down. Could have, probably should have had a pick 6 on that play if he caught it. But it was a tough, it's tough when the ball's in the air like that for him to, make that play. I thought he played well, and only thing, this is a very, very, very small criticism of him. I just didn't love him celebrating after every play, especially right at the end when we were getting killed. But it is what it is. It really doesn't matter. I just didn't think Allen would do that of all people. But not a big deal at all. He had an amazing game. He's our best defensive player. Him, Payne. Those guys are good. I mean, Payne wasn't amazing today. He was solid, though, for sure. But Jonathan Allen was an absolute animal today, and I wanted to start off with that for the defense because he deserves to get his credit. Cole Holcomb, not great. I think one of the touchdowns was on him. And, I mean, he had a couple good plays early on, but for the most part, not great. Cam Curl, didn't really notice him too much, but had some good tackles. By McCain, not great. Payne was, he was pretty solid. Had a tackle for loss and batted a pass down as well. Could have gotten a little more pressure on the quarterback, but it is what it is. I thought Jamin Davis had a good game. He had some good run stuffs and then also run stops and then some okay plays in coverage. There was a couple where he was matched up on CeeDee Lamb. That's just unfortunate. Not a lot of linebackers are going to be able to cover CeeDee Lamb one-on-one. The first time, it was all on Del Rio and whoever had them lined up. And then the second time, I think that was more on Jamin Davis because it seems like he didn't know what he was doing on that play. But I thought Jamin Davis had a solid game today, and he deserves his props. A guy that does not deserve his props, William Jackson III, is awful. He is the worst player on this team. I much rather see Tariq Castro-Fields or Rashad Wildgoose on the field than William Jackson. He gets burnt. He gets penalties all the time. He does not stop. And even when he's in position, there was one play where he was in position, and I think it was on Michael Gallup, and he just grabs his shoulder pad. Bro, you're in position to make the play. There was a lot of other times where he just got beat and he had a pass interference. But that time, he was in position to make the play, and he decides to just, have the pass interference. That was terrible. That really, really hurts you. You can't be doing that. He did a good job on one of the last plays of the game where he just batted the ball down. He was in position, basically the same position he was on these other plays, and he batted it down instead of just tackling the guy and committing pass interference. And he allowed a touchdown to CeeDee Lamb, got absolutely cooked. Just terrible today. He had one good play, a tackle for loss, but besides that, he was awful. He also had a penalty where it negated a Cam Curl interception, so that was awful as well. And then he had another couple penalties, and let's see, Derek Forrest. I thought he had a good game. He had a really nice tackle on special teams. He had some other good tackles as well, so I thought he was solid today. Kendall Fuller, he looks so, he's never been a speed demon, but he looks so slow out there. I can't remember who it was, but I think he was running after Noah Brown, and I was like, man, he looks slow. He didn't have a great game, but definitely wasn't as bad as William Jackson III. Benjamin St-Juste, I thought had a solid game, had that penalty which negated his interception. It was definitely a penalty in my opinion. He didn't really need to do it because it was such a bad throw by Cooper Rush that if he would have made the penalty, I think he still would have made the interception. But I thought Benjamin St-Juste was solid today. I'm trying to think of who else. Yeah, I mean, he was solid, and then Efe Obada had a nice block, but then he should have had 2 points on that play if he would have ran it back or gave it to someone else. So that was a good and bad play by him, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Those things happen. But I mean, at this level, you got to know that you can run it back for 2. And then let's see. No intercept. Another day with no turnovers by the defense. 1 turnover through 4 games. That's just this game was not on the defense at all. It was on the offense. But you got to force some turnovers, guys. You have to force some turnovers. Dax Milne, as a returner, not great. Joey Sly finally attempted his first field goal and made it. And I thought Tressway was good today. 5 punts inside the 20. Only bad punt was when he just got ran. Like, that was clearly running into the kicker. Running into the kicker or roughing. I think it was running, though. Clearly a penalty. And they just ignore it. The refs were terrible, but we lost this game. Not because of the refs, because of coaching, bad quarterback play, bad offensive line play, not great separation by receivers. So we didn't lose the game because of the refs, even though the rest were not good. Cooper Rush was fine, 15 for 27, 2 touchdowns, got sacked once. For the most part, though, like, his receivers were doing the hard work, but he was good enough. I mean, he got the job done. 3-0 this year as a starter, 4-0 in his career. So shout out to Cooper Rush. And then Zeke didn't really do much. CeeDee Lamb had a good game against us. And yeah, that's it. Michael Gallup also had a good game. Even though it was 2 catches for 24 yards and a touchdown, he also had that long pass interference that he drew. And surprisingly, Micah Parsons had no sacks. I guess that's the only positive of the game. But guys, it's going to be a long season, and I'm done with Rivera. Like, I really am. I'm done with him. Done with the rest of the coaching staff. I think they should clean house after this year. I don't think they will. I mean, I don't know. If it gets really bad, I think they might. And if it's really bad and like you win 3 games on the season, you're 3-14 or 4-13. I really want to get a new coach, because a new coach and a GM to make the right decision with that top 3, top 4, top 5 pick that you have with that really bad record. I want them to make the right decision on the QB, and I don't know if Rivera and those guys will make the right decision if they're in that position. But what I fear might happen is that this team, is going to struggle the next couple weeks, and then at some point they'll, go on a little winning streak and end up at 6-7 wins, which is always what happens with this team. We can almost never be bad. Like, bad enough. We can always be mediocre. We're always mediocre, 7-ish wins, 7-8 wins. We can never get to, besides that 2019 year and a couple others in the past, we can never get to like 2-3 wins, which is, if you're going to be bad, you want to be really, really bad, not 7 wins and get the 14th overall pick. That's just the worst case scenario for this year. I really, really hope that doesn't happen very, very early in the season, but I think we know where this season is heading. Really unfortunate, but yeah, done with Rivera, done with Turner for sure. Del Rio as well. They had a better game today, but still, it's not like he's been amazing this year, so wouldn't mind moving on from him as well. So that's it for today's video. Unfortunately, bad post-game reaction by me in terms of just, we lost. It's just a loss. I wish I could be a little bit happier, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for watching, and peace, guys.